Welcome back to AFTV, everyone. We're stood here outside Craven Cottage, a really nice ground, a unique ground. We're going to talk about it a little bit. And of course, go check out Box to Box if you haven't yet, with Turkish and Jack as well from Fulhamish. But we are here, 25,000 seat stadium, 2 p.m. kickoff on Sunday. That is UK time, of course. All you amazing fans around the world will be getting up at all sorts of hours to watch Arsenal. And that's what we love about you all. But we are here. It's cold. It's cold, Turkish. It's March. I thought this was like March. We're getting ready for the last final months of the season. You know, get the pink kit out again and all that. Sun's out. We're all having fun, but no, it's freezing.
It is freezing. I mean, on Box to Box, I use my left hand to hold the mic. There's a reason I'm using my right hand to hold this mic now. I can't even lie. Yeah,
you'll see me throughout the show doing this, but let's get straight into it. Fulham. Let's just touch on Fulham very quickly, because I know obviously Jack would have given a really good breakdown on Box to Box. I was listening to a lot of that as well. But they're no strangers to the position that they're in the table. I know that we think of them as a team that go up and down, but for a long time, right? I used to come here and watch a bit of Fulham actually, because they were a pretty local club, just to catch some football, some Premier League football. Saw Arsenal here. Do you remember the Van Persie goal when he chested it? And great goal. We saw that here, and you know they're a club that, for a prolonged period of time under Roy Hodgson and a few other managers, Martin Jol as well. Did they Martin Jol? They did, yeah.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
They were in that top half of the table, competitive, and this wasn't an easy place to come. I don't think it will be this Sunday either.
No, it won't be easy. That's for sure. I mean, having spoken to Jack and getting his thoughts behind it. Listen, Fulham have only lost 3 home games this season.
There you go.
That says a lot. I think he said it was United, Newcastle, and Tottenham.
There you go. Yeah.
Newcastle, they went down to 10 men early on. United, they wasn't great. United, there was a last-minute win, and against Tottenham, they wasn't great. Yeah,
Kane moment of magic, wasn't it? Yeah, which shows you. I mean, look, it's a small pitch. Well, I think it is. It was when I used to come here. They play a 4-4-2 or sort of a 4-4-1-1 with Pereira behind Mitrovic or Vinicius leading the line. And while they can be quite compact, they are a team that like to play. Like, they will throw punches at Arsenal. I think this could be quite an open game if either team are to sort of follow the way that they've been wanting to play all season.
Yeah, I agree, and they've got some players there that can be really threatening for Arsenal. I mean, listen, Mitrovic isn't on the greatest of form, but he's the type of striker that can really cause problems, and we saw that in the first game. Yeah, I mean, he caused problems for Gabriel and got the first goal. Yeah, credit to Gabriel, he got the winner in the end. But it was, Mitrovic causes problems more often than not. Yeah. Then you have Willian, who they seem to be very happy with. Complete opposite to Willian's time at Arsenal and what we thought of it.
Yeah, well, but I think by getting more than 1 goal, he's more than doubled his contribution to Fulham. He's looked really good for them, to be fair.
Yeah, he has. Not that I've watched Fulham much, but he has when I have seen him. But Solomon's the one on form at the moment. Pereira's been great for them all season. And, it's good that Palhinha is out, because, in my opinion, he is a massive player for them, a very good signing.
Top player. And another one, people laugh at me for rating Football Manager. Honestly, Palhinha 2 years ago, he was a player on the game that I'd always sign. Comes to Fulham, I thought, okay, this will be an interesting one. Lo and behold, he's doing really well. But yes, he is out of the Arsenal game. Let's have a little look at Fulham's form. But one of their games was the Chelsea draw, the 0-0. They beat Forest 2-0. They won 1-0 at Brighton as well. We know that's not an easy thing to do.
That was a big one for them.
And then their last 2, a draw with Wolves at home and a defeat to Brentford, but those aren't exactly results that make you worry if you're a Fulham fan. Okay, it can happen. It's disappointing. Yeah. But they've, from the very first day here against Liverpool, the 2-2, they kind of set a standard for, what they were going to be in the Premier League, which was just ultra competitive. And, they worked Man City really hard at the Etihad as well. Yeah. And, I think they're the kind of team that actually Arsenal should enjoy playing against, because they're not going to park the bus and be super negative and all that. But when you look at what they've done, playing their way, the Marco Silva way, which we saw at Watford, we saw at Hull, we saw at Everton, although it didn't always go the way he wanted, there's a style of football that can hurt teams. So, they are players. You mentioned Solomon there that, we do have to be wary of while trying to do our thing as well going forward.
Yeah, there's a bit of excitement now with Fulham and their fans in terms of Silva coming in and his philosophy, his way of playing, and the signings that he's made. Yeah. I've mentioned a few of the players already, and you're right in saying that this is the type of team that Arsenal should like playing against, because recently during our blip, the Everton one in particular, the low block and stifling us, ruffling our feathers a bit, we struggled to create chances. Similar against Brentford, to be honest, struggling to create chances. Whereas with Fulham, I think there'll be space.
Yeah.
I think it'll be quite an open game.
Yeah.
And I think they'll be going for the 3 points, considering they're going for European places as well.
Yeah.
We've just had a 2-2 draw against Sporting on Thursday, so fatigue could be an issue. A lot of people are talking about that already, and Jack did mention it in box to box. So, we've got to be on guard, but at the same time, I think we've got enough to expose what Fulham will probably attempt to try and do on Sunday.
Yeah, let's go more into the Arsenal side of things. If you want more on Fulham, of course, as I mentioned, go check out Box to Box with Jack. Some really good insight there. They do sit 7th in the table on 39 points, as we said, having a really good season. Arsenal top of the table on 63. It's very nearly 61, thanks to Reece Nelson, that last kick of the game. Our form going into it, you mentioned that blip. We're starting to see the back of it fully, what with having played 4 games since that 3-1 defeat to City. We beat Villa 4-2. A 1-0 win at Leicester, 4-0 win against Everton, and a 3-2 win against Bournemouth as well. 2 clean sheets in there, which is surprising when actually we've been quite critical of our defending recently, and rightly so, I think. I don't think Arteta will be particularly happy about it. I think Xhaka in his... the sun's coming out. I'm defrosting. I think the Xhaka comments after the Sporting draw tells you how he feels about the goals that were being conceded as well. So, Fulham might smell blood a little bit there when looking at what weaknesses they can... Basically, I think they might think that the best way to get something out of Arsenal here is to go punch for punch, whereas other teams, maybe go back a month ago, would have thought, let's park the bus, see what we can do on the counter.
Yeah, and Arteta mentioned it as well defensively. He said, we've got to tighten it up, we've got to be better. One thing about Fulham is, in my opinion, the first goal is going to be massive. We went behind against Villa, I was still confident. We went behind against Bournemouth, I was still confident. Even against Sporting, when we went behind, I thought we had enough to get back into the game. I know it was a lucky goal we got in the end, but we got back into it, we got the draw. Against Fulham, if we concede first, I would worry a bit more than I did against those teams.
Is that because they have shown a resilience that others maybe haven't?
Yeah, both a resilience and the quality they possess. I mean, we can't afford to go 2-0 down, that's for sure. I don't want to see no quick fire goals from Fulham this Sunday.
I don't need that to be the story of the season.
Yeah.
The team that keep coming back. Listen, while it's a great trait to a degree, you need more of those Leicester performances. And I know Dave Jordan in the comments, after that comment you read out on Forever Arsenal, he knows I enjoyed that Leicester win, but because I really believe that's the stuff of champions.
Yeah, and you know what it is? I think going into this game, we talked about potentially what Fulham's plan might be, or maybe lack of it in terms of smelling blood. I think Arsenal have got to have a plan, and I think that plan should start with being defensively resolute.
Yeah,
maybe controlling the game from the off, not going too gung ho with it, not trying to open Fulham up off the cuff. I think we've got to kind of take control of the game, manage it well. We will create chances because, Saka, Martinelli, even Reece Nelson, he should be playing, considering we don't know much about Eddie and Trossard at the moment. I think the chances will come, but like I said, conceding first or going in and leaving ourselves exposed, like we did against Sporting. Our passing wasn't crisp against Sporting, and to be honest with you, they should have gone 1-0 up before we did. At 2-1, they could have made it 3-1. We've got to be a lot more resolute, a lot more compact. We've got to, keep to our positions a bit more. I know Arteta's system and the reason we've got this far is players moving into certain positions and whatnot. But I think now it's definitely, if it wasn't the business end of the season come January after the World Cup, it is the business end now with 12 games to go. So I want Arsenal to manage this game. I wouldn't be upset going into half-time at 0-0. I just want us to be resolute defensively.
Yeah, I think that is what we're looking for. And that doesn't mean being boring. That doesn't mean settling for a point. It just means, everyone always thinks you're either an attacking team or you're a defensive team. You can do everything well, but you just make little tweaks with positioning or whatever just to say, cool, these can address... I mean, look against Sporting. Tomiyasu Partey came on, suddenly we had control of that game. Sometimes it should be little tweaks, but we also looked more like scoring. So, we looked defensively better and like the team that were more likely to score, just with a couple of tweaks here and there.
Similar against Everton too when Partey came on.
That's very true. That's very true, actually. So in the context of the title race, City travelled to Palace, 5:30 game on the Saturday. So they're going to be playing before us. And then we play that 2 p.m. game, as I mentioned. Fulham, Man United play at the same time. But again, it feels like we've built enough of a gap, but you still don't really want to be tempting fate, let's say. So they play at the same time as us. So it'd be interesting what results City get and how that might impact us. We actually did really well pre-World Cup to respond well to they lost to Brentford and we went and won at Wolves. We actually did well to respond to any blips they might have had, or when they won and put pressure on, we did well to kind of respond as well then. But there is that factor as well. And in terms of injury news, well, I mean, there's loads. I mean, Jesus, we just don't know. Like, we just have no idea whether he's on the brink or not of returning. Wasn't on the bench for Sporting, so I'd be amazed if he's on the bench for Fulham, if I'm honest. Tierney ill, Odegaard ill. Who else have we got? There's a few players we know. Trossard's out till after the international break, I believe. In Nketiah, we don't really know what's going on either. So there's still a few players. We're going to talk. There's a Predict 11 show coming out after this as well, so look out for that on the channel. But yeah, a few injury problems there for Arteta to deal with.
Usually the team picks itself all season.
Very true.
You know, through injuries, and let's not forget Arteta mentioning that, you know, players can't keep up the same level for 10 months.
Yeah.
He mentioned changes. I think he's been forced into a few of these changes as well, but you know, looking at the team that played Sporting, I wouldn't think it's too dissimilar. Obviously, you'd expect a few more players to come back, like
Very
Ramsdale, Gabriel, and Thomas Partey. But in terms of our attack, something I noticed against Sporting is we didn't really have anything off the bench to change it up much. Yeah. Again, that's why I go back to not conceding first against Fulham, because it'll be a long day after that, because we just don't have the squad right now to make the necessary changes in attack in particular right now to really kind of give a threat. And even Tierney, for me, in games during that blip, I said to myself, you know, we're not creating enough chances. Maybe bring Tierney on, who, listen, we know what he's about defensively, but he's quite underrated offensively. I know he's not Zinchenko. He doesn't do what Zinchenko does.
I completely agree.
But he does something different, and he can break into that final third. He can get balls into the box, and we don't even have him at the moment.
Very
true. You know, we can't be relying on our bench this Sunday against Fulham. So it's going to be a tough one.
We'll see. Of course, there is a Predict 11 show, as I just mentioned, coming out on the channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the alert, so you will know when that is uploaded. Check out all the other content from Box to Box, this preview. If you've enjoyed it, hit the like button as well, and everything else. Forever Arsenal, you know what there is. Go check it all out on AFTV. We'll be covering it live as well on Sunday. Come on, Arsenal. Another big 3 points, although they all are, aren't they? Let's go.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.